I met a Gypsy.
When I did Raw 100, the last Raw 100 bike one at that abandoned mine, I was on Flickr. And I was like, I was losing my mind. I was like, I'm just gonna I need to find a cool location. And then I was like, people on Flickr post weird random locations. So I'm like on Flickr, just like typing in like random landscape, like stuff, like just anything. And then a photo of like this like collapsed abandoned building came up, and I was like, this is super cool looking. Like that looks like an up ramp, and that you'd be like a drop in the dirt, looks kind of sick. And then there's like wall rides here. And I was like, where is this? It's gotta be, it's gonna be in like somewhere crazy. It's gonna be like Russia or like, I'm like, I don't know where it's gonna be. And then it was like Merritt, BC. It's like 3 hours from my house. I was like, okay,
cool. We're on there.
Who owns this place? Boom, like figured it out, called the dude the next day. Like it was like, obviously like getting the permits for that shoot took like a whole year because like the dude, well, no, it was my production.
Oh, okay.
Obviously like Red Bull supported it, but like I did the whole thing, but it was like
the dude skirt some of the Red Bull stuff when it's your production and then you just deliver them a video, or
they get the final piece.
So then do you have to play by all their rules when it comes to production stuff then? If it's
I'm in a gray area.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Because I know how that shit goes. It fucking sucks
sometimes. I've kind of like, and we have that relationship where it's like
they know
how I work, and like I'm not like getting paid as a production. Like this is like, I spend my time because I want to do this stuff. I'm like, hey, I'm doing this. You guys want to be a part of it. And then it's like, you guys are essentially licensing the video and we're going to collaborate on it and do some fun stuff with it. But like, it's my production. I'm not asking for money to be a producer. I'm not asking the production it's just like, we're doing this and you're going to be a part of it if you're excited. And that's great. And then obviously like they'll have some say and like, hey, like here's some ideas, or like, maybe can we do this for the video? And then, it's like, it's collaborative at times, but a lot of the time they're like, you have a vision, we trust you.
But at this point in your career,
we've done it enough that we trust each other, and it's like, that's the working relationship. And I'm not like, again, I'm not trying to be a production company. I'm just trying to get my ideas. Like,
I'm just trying to make
bring it to life, And so that was, one of those ones was like, I think I've got the next Raw 100 spot. Like, and like it took me like a year to get this dude to say yes. We got permission.
Really? And what was his reservation, or what does it normally get used for, that place?
Well, it was a deactivated mine, and then they started up, like he purchased it and they started up again.
Okay.
But that part of the mine that we were using was like all old buildings. He had built new buildings, new facility, whatever. And then they're mining up above, and this, like the property's big, but that area we used was kind of down on like one side of the property. And then he was sort of like, he was super cool. He was actually like kind of like embedded into some like more like typical sport, like team sport stuff in the area. And he's a really rad dude actually. But he was just sort of like, he didn't understand action sports as much. And he's like, hey, he's kind of like, obviously we're just like some dirtbag mountain bikers. He's like, are you guys dialed?
You guys
like,
cool?
Yeah. And he's also like, hey, we've got operations happening here, and it's a mine. It's an active mine. It's like not a safe place to just have people around and other machinery around. So that was like a bit of the conversation, and he was totally into it. Like you could tell he was kind of excited about it, but he was just like hesitant to be like, yes. And then COVID happened. And then it was sort of like, obviously there was some really weird months, and I obviously didn't reach out in that time because I was like, everyone's doing their own thing. And as it started to kind of like, there was a little period in the middle of COVID where it started to mellow out a little bit. I reached out to him and I was like, hey, just FYI, like I'd still be keen to do this. Well, like just let me know like if this is a possibility. And he's like, well, we're shut down. Like there's no one here. So he's like, just roll up, do it. He's like, yeah. And that was it. So cool. And that was like what gave us the opportunity pretty much.
How long are you spending on a video like that? So I'm asking very film nerd questions.
I planned that one out for like over a year, like
for like the shoot itself, like how quickly can you, or like I guess you had to build the features and then to shoot it, like how much time are you
I would say like once I have like idea of like what I want to do from like a riding standpoint, and I have a location, it takes probably, you know, like there's the time to like figure out, okay, who's going to be shooting and like how many days do we need this and that. Like I'll do like the logistics of it takes me.
And that's you doing that?
Yeah.
Like, so you're the producer essentially.
Yeah. I would say logistics is like, you know, I need a minimum of a month, but like sometimes I'll spend like 3 months. And once I've got a location and once I know like what I'm doing as a rider. And then once we're on set, it's typically like 10 to 14 days. We can do a full build and shoot.
Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes it's a bit more. Like if it's a really big one, like I would give ourselves more like closer to 18 days. But like that one we did in 12 days.
Man, that's so cool.
Yeah.
And so you're the spreadsheet dude, you're the email dude, you're the budget dude.
Everything.
Like, no way.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know obviously from like the film, like the photography stuff that you do, like you take epic photos, and like even in the balancing act, you're like, we'll do it here, like backlit, and it's like you know everything that you're doing, but yeah, to hear that you're the dude typing the emails, making the calls, booking the locations, like just all that. That's such a heavy lift to do while also trying to be one of the most progressive riders in the sport, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's like I said, I don't really want to be a producer, but when there's like a means to something I really want to do, then I'm like, I'll just do the work, you know? It's like, if you want it done right, you do it yourself. And that's like, I've learned that the hard way, I feel like, over my career and just time. And you're just like, I have a vision. I can't like, you know, there's certain people in your life that you can trust to like, you know, help drive that vision forward. But for the most part, it's like the best person to bring that vision to life is yourself. So you just like, just get into it.
With like creativity in general, like were you creative before this in a sense of like you would have, if let's say there's no mountain bike or there's none of that, you would have shot film, you would have like, or is this all come out of your career in a sense, like the proclivity to be creative in that sense?
I don't really know. Like, I guess I was always kind of like interested in photography, like even when I was younger. But I think like how you were saying, like when you watched like all the films that you grew up on, it was like that gave you your sense of like, that's how I want to ride. That's the kind of music I want to listen to. I think like that was kind of like, was a bit of like, okay, I want to film my riding, but I'm like, oh, it'd be sick if we shot it like that one clip in that one movie. And like when he was doing that, but I'm going to do this instead. It was like, I think that aspect of it kind of like made me more interested in like
so super symbiotic.
Yeah, the creative side of it. Yeah, and like maybe I wanted to take something that like's already been done, but like just play with it, you know, like let's do it a little different way or this or that, and then it just like maybe like the bit of creativity I had just started to like snowball because I'm like, look what you can do with this stuff. You can just go crazy, you know. So then I just started doing like maybe going a bit more wild and like diving into that, like what can we do with this, or like what should the look be, what should the style be, like how do we color grade it, like you know, just those like aspects of, you know, making it different every time.
And do you enjoy the tech aspect of it?
Yeah, I do. I've always been into like, you know, the equipment, like my bike, or like, you know, like into, you know, cameras and random things. Like I just didn't really understand it. And then the more I started to get involved in it, I was like, okay, like and that was a part of like me wanting to shoot a little bit, is like, if I understand the cameras, I understand what's possible. Yeah. Cause like there'd be times where like I'd be on a production and I didn't really understand the shot. I'm like, okay, well, what lens do they have on? Are they going to see this jump? Are they going to see like the setup jump to the jump? And then like how much of the run out are they going to see? Cause I want to make sure like I'm looking the best I can from when I enter frame to when I leave. But if I'm like coming in kind of lazy looking and then I do a cool trick and then I like kind of skid early or do something lame, then I'm like, I'm going to be like, I did the cool trick, but then I blew it the rest of the shot. So I'm like, I want to understand, like I could just like look at the camera and be like, you know, walk by the filmer and be like, okay, I know exactly what he's looking at.
That's so sick. Yeah, that's very high level to be thinking, because, you know, for people that don't know, like you put a 200 millimeter lens on, like you're not going to see really much before and much after, like the background's going to appear like super close to whatever it is that you're shooting. Whereas you go 16 to 35, you're going to see all of the landscape, all of the city in the back, you know, so there's so much in that. And
for sure,
when you start to kind of like dive into those details,
there's so many things. And I think like the mountain bike world is like I'm going to say it's nerdy, like for sure. Like they dissect things like, you know, oh, his like cables were here and like, you know, this and that and whatever. They dissect things. And like I do too when I watch that stuff. So I'm like, okay, the filmer's shooting up the pipe with the 300 mil on. I'm like, are you on my tires? Or you on my face? Cause like, I don't want to have like a stupid face while I'm riding, you know, like all tight. There's just like little things you just like, it's crazy how much like you will put into like the smallest aspects of it that aren't even like the riding.
We're excited to announce the launch of our new membership site, gypsytales.com, packed with exclusive content and perks that you won't find anywhere else. This is your chance to become a part of the Gypsy Gang. And as a special bonus, if you sign up to an annual membership, you'll be entered into the draw to win our custom-built TC125. Gypsy Gang.